noise. I've got some big breaking news for you guys. Yes, I do have my sippy cup again from Costa. Yeah, I have some really huge news for those who are curious. Just let me know what you can hear. I'm going to check out real quick and see what I can hear, if it sounds all right from my perspective, because it's the sun is hitting me in the face outside. So I've come in here. Let's see what we get here for sound-wise. And once again, I still can't get my laptop to register with, there's a sound echo. Okay, that's not good. All right, we've had this problem before. Let me try this. All right, so we'll try it like that, then I'll put it back on and see if it works better. Thank you for the heads up on that, because it's taking a while to load for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. So it's loaded now. Dismiss that. Close that. Give me the chat. Live chat, okay. Come on, it's taking a while to get there. It's better, yeah, but it's not as good as it can be because you pick up all the background noise. So let me see how that sounds. It's not as good as it can be because you pick. Okay, so now let me just try this again and see if it works. Okay, I don't know if it picked that back up. Let's see if it picked that back up. Okay, I don't know if it picked that back up. Okay, that's better. Okay, I don't know if it picked that back up. Okay, that's better. That cuts, yeah, that cuts out. I don't know. It must have been something with the connection on that. It's very loud. It's England. People are loud. Remember, Americans are so loud. That's nonsense. Everybody's loud. It's just a matter of perspective. Anyway, folks, welcome back to the program. I have some huge, and here comes the sun. As soon as I start broadcasting, the sun comes out behind me. There's a big cloud there. Of course, isn't that just nature conspires against me? So I need to move my laptop over so I can actually see the screen. I've got the brightness up all the way, but it's like I'm in Hades with that sun right now. It's blaring, coming out of nowhere there. So let me adjust my laptop so that I can see the chat over here. So I have some massive news, folks. First off, a couple of big things. I did the analysis of the AfriForum and SAAI dossier on Julius Malema. I put that out there, and it's doing okay. It's one of those things that should get half a million views, but it'll be lucky to get 35 or 40,000 views on it because of the shadow banning. But it's out there now, so I put that out. In addition to it, my goodness, that sun. I'm going to have to turn around and face the other direction here shortly, but so you guys can see me. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that the South African National Defense Force, the Department of Defense in South Africa, has requested a postponement to Operation Mosi 3. This is the combined naval exercise with Russia and the Chinese Communists. It's due to take place at the same time the G20 summit is scheduled for in November. And this was a very big own goal by South Africa's government, which there's a very noisy child here that's about to leave, thank goodness, these South Asians. Okay, well, the sun's not bothering you, that's fine, but my face is here, so. Anyway, yeah, so Operation Mosi 3 now, they're trying to postpone it. Somebody, an adult somewhere in the South African government has stepped forward and said, hey, guys, you realize you're really pissing off DC. You know, you're going to hold an exercise with the Chinese and Russians, sanctioned Russian government, a communist Chinese government, at the same time that you say you're trying to improve relations with the United States, and you're doing it during the G20 summit when you're supposed to hand the presidency over to the United States. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And so as a consequence, somebody apparently is getting their act together, and now this is going to be postponed, which is what should have been the case. Where the hell are the clouds at? Good Lord. I'll tell you what, the Midlands in the UK, fickle weathermen. I don't know why anybody in South Africa wants to come to the UK. The weather sucks. I don't mind it. I'm a Viking. But the weather sucks here. There's not many like you around here. It's become quickly the world's immigration dump. Yeah, so anyway, now, okay, so how are we doing on size audience? 239 people here. Now I'm going to break the news to you that is going to get some people in a tizzy. Some people are going to be excited. Some people are going to moan about it. And sorry, I was just getting feedback on Truth Report. So here's the news. This is more breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past week and a half alone, approximately 2,000 to 3,000 refugee aspirants have been interviewed in the nation's capital alone, Pretoria. 2,000 to 3,000. 2,000 to 3,000. Are you guys listening? All these people moaning about the pace of the refugee program and why is it so slow. You don't know what you're talking about. Again, as I've said, these things take time. 2,000 to 3,000. I have sources that indicate that many people have shown up in the Capitol. 2,000 to 3,000 refugee aspirants alone. Now, you know me, I don't make crap up. I don't go with stuff unless it's a source or sources I trust. All right? So I'm telling you, and I will look for further confirmation of that. It's anecdotal evidence, okay? That's 2,000 to 3,000. I also have confirmation from personal friends of mine that they will be out of the country within a few weeks. Within a few weeks. So all this talk about, it's not happening, I've lost faith, that's all drot sitters, that's all liars, that's all cockrotters. We're sitting on the sidelines trying to sow anger and sow disappointment and sow discord in the Afrikaans community. And by the way, those 2,000 to 3,000 aspirants were white and colored. Lots of coloreds showing up there for the interviews. So Sumer, you've heard about the large numbers. Well, I believe I'm the first journalist to report that information. I could be wrong, but I believe I'm the first one. Napoleon, I've been waiting more than a month. Well, some people have been waiting since they sent in their PRM email back in February 10th. So, anyway. Yeah, that is amazing, Vela Pistorius. Yeah, that is something else. 2,000 to 3,000 people. That's an estimate. It could be somewhere in between. Could be the high end of that. So, for those of you who say nothing's happening, it is happening. And I'm still waiting for confirmation. The number of people that arrived in a southern state was 36 on the 30th or the 30th of August. Folks, it's happening for a lot of people. Now, I'm still away. A number of these people are getting settled. I've already got a promise from at least one family that's going to do an interview with me after I return to the States. So we'll find out how they're doing that. We'll have given them approximately 3 weeks to a month to get settled there. But that family did tell me that they already moved into an apartment. It's already been provided to them within 2 or 3 days after arrival. So there you go. So here's the thing. I noticed that the refugee groups that I've created, which no one's allowed to comment in except for my moderators and myself, that way we don't have people spreading rumors or calling people and that sort of thing. Those groups, the interest is waning. Both groups are now under the 1,024 cap. One of them's down to 9 something. The other one's at 1,006, I think it is. So if you want to join, if one of the moderators is here, if they could put the link to those groups for WhatsApp, my WhatsApp groups, there's room for people who want to join those groups now to stay updated on information and videos that are produced about the refugee program. So there is space in both of them. Let me take a look very quickly here. Actually, maybe I can do that. Let me see. U.S. Refugee, U.S. U.S. Refugee. Okay, so this one here has members. It has 1,009. So this group can take another 15 or so. And so, oh, that's not what I want. Why is that coming up with YouTube? That is not what I wanted. Why did it do that? So I want members, right? Copy link, okay. And this I'll put in the chat. This is the first group. There's about space for 15 people that want to get. This isn't a refugee broadcast. It's a regular broadcast, but I'm sharing this. So that's the first one. So whoever gets their first come, first serve. Here's the second one. Come on. Laptop isn't moving as fast as it should. This one only has 991, so we can get 24, 33 people can join this one if they want. Copy the link. Okay, 33 people. So there's going to be a lot of people can join today if they want. So here you go. Also, I've noticed some dirty tricks with some outspoken South Africans who have people pulling all kinds of crap against them now, including making false reports about child abuse. So their children are taken away from them. Others getting false criminal complaints laid against them so that they can't leave the country because there's existing criminal. I have your scoop. What scoop, Ian? What have I seen from you? Have you sent something on WhatsApp or Telegram? I haven't seen it. All right, so let me go back and see if anybody wants to join those now. And that's those two groups. Okay, so let's see. All right, I got 6, 7 requests in the one group. Other group has got 16, so let me just go ahead and take care of that. There's 1, 2, 3. It's not the fastest. I'm slaving off my mobile phone. And the Wi-Fi won't work with my laptops for some reason. I don't understand why. So I'm approving these as they come in on the first group. And I got all the requests. There's one more left here and on that group. And it's full. So the last person in didn't get in that group. That's group number 1. In group number 2, there's 16 requests now. So hopefully you didn't ask for both groups. If you asked for both groups, please leave one of them. Okay, because that's unfair to others who can't get in a group, okay? Okay, and okay, what's this? No longer exists. I think, oh, so, okay, someone withdrew the request. Thank you for that. Okay, good. So some of you are withdrawing your request. Thank you for that. Wow, a lot of you double requested. Oh, I'm doing the same one, okay? All right, so several of you, good. So now we're good. Okay, both groups should be full now. Nope, that one's still not full, pending request 2. Okay, this is the first group. The first group number 2 has room for another 21 people. So yeah, group number 2 has room for 21. The other one is full. Yep. So group number 1 is full. Group number 2 has room for 21 people. So go to the second one, okay? All right, there you go, folks. I didn't remove you from the group, David. That wasn't me. Anyway, folks, yeah, so wow, some big stuff. No, Garrett Gillich, it is a sad indictment on the U.S., not on the U.S., on South African government that so many people are interested in this program. So again, that's kind of breaking news for those who don't know about it. For those who don't know about it. What's going on here? Why is my thing so slow? I got to see if it's trying to log into a VPN. That might be part of the problem. Yeah, stop this. Auto connect. I don't want to be in a VPN. That's part of the problem. Good Lord. I don't want to be in a VPN, stupid thing. Okay, not connected to VPN. That should speed things up. Okay, let's try it again now. Oh my goodness, that's not any better. Rewatch from the start, okay? If you missed it, I sent you a message via WhatsApp. Okay, WhatsApp, Ian, I did miss it, so let me see. So, Ian. Okay, Ian, I don't have you down under your name, so let me see if I can find something else here. No, that's not him. No, you're not here. I don't have any message from you. You're gonna have to send me something right now. Werner Fundamental gave a 70 Rand super chat. Everyone is processed. My friend selected 3 to 6 months and they've been through their interviews, says Napoleon. Okay. Was on both, but removed myself from group 2. Thank you, Eli Berserker. That's kind of you. Okay. So, Ian, you're going to have to send me a WhatsApp right now, and then I'll be able to see it's you because I don't know your phone number. I don't know your phone number. All right. So, and 2, 3, 4 more people just got into the second group, okay? All right, there you go. I'm going to stop on WhatsApp for now. Ian, let me know when you've done it. Okay, so back to the chat and see what people are saying. Rumor has it that only 0 to 3 month apps can process currently. Well, again, that's a rumor, and I know that's bullshit because I know people that had said they could leave later who'd been processed. So that's a lie. That's a rumor. People spreading anecdotal information, which is bullshit. They shouldn't do that. See my criminal record check forms from Amerikaners. It seems things are speeding up the perspective as well. Just wanted to give an update. Thank you, Saving Private Ryan. Join the second of being root from the first. Thanks. Okay, David. Oh, gifted memberships. I didn't see that. Keith Nordkia gave 10 memberships. Thank you for that. Clouds are gathering. Clouds are gathering. Clouds are gathering. Ta-ta. Clouds are gathering. Ta-ta. Thunder. Thunder. Are there flights going every day, weekly? Amanda, I won't comment on that. There are flights going every day to the U.S., and they're going on. See, you guys got to quit asking these silly questions because there are flights every day. There are commercial airlines that fly to the U.S. every single day, and we send people on commercial flights. So there are always people going every day. Whether there's refugees on those flights is a different question. Okay. Yep, Chris Wyatt only boats people there on both groups. Yep. Why would you leave the group once you're in the States, Mr. T? You can if you want, but I mean, It'd be nice if people give me interviews after they get states. A lot of people said they would, but I don't necessarily see that if I'm following through. So I'm trying to keep this light here. It's really bright over there. There you go. I can see my face a lot better, but I got to hold my hat up. I got my rugby cap. There you go. You're doing a background check. How are you doing a background check? I don't understand that. Someone does a background check on you. Okay. Please improve your camera quality. Pictures are blurred and very poor quality. Maybe try an external camera. Okay, Garth Johnson, do you have any idea what the hell's going on? I'm sitting here on my mobile in a coffee shop in England on what people are calling a holiday, but it's not a holiday. I can't improve the quality unless I do this and move somewhere else. Is that better? Does that make you guys happier? I mean, honestly, please improve the quality like an external camera. Yeah, let me just pull one out of my ass right here, because I just got, hang on, pull a camera out of my ass right here because, I've got access to all this technology right here. I'm sorry if I sound a little testy there, but at the beginning of this broadcast, I asked people if the picture was okay, if the quality was okay, if you could see the program. I did specifically ask that question. I said I would turn around and let the sun shine in my eyes so you have better quality. And then I got people saying, please use an external camera. I am using an external camera. I'm using my mobile telephone, which is fantastic and has a great camera on it, better than most cameras you all have at home. But the problem is I'm sitting in a cafe. Anyway, so don't take that personally, but I mean, it's just showing you the point that people don't pay attention. I said all these things from the very outset, and people just aren't paying attention. I can see my screen a lot better on a laptop now, so there you go. But now you get to see the toilet. See, that's the toilet back there. I hope you're enjoying the view of the toilet. And again, that picture got foggy because, as I said, here, let's do it this way. It's even better. Get rid of the sunshine and see less of the toilet and more of the inside. No, you can't satisfy everybody. The stream started wasn't live by you. I don't know what that means. Garth, there you go. So Garth, I've improved the quality. I hope you're still here to enjoy the improved quality. I saw last night that on the radio program that 10 Minutes with Kool-Aid showed up, and before I could greet him, he disappeared. Interesting. We're all bored of playing for the States. He's not interested in refugees. Says to kick refugees out of their WhatsApp groups. Okay, Neff, I don't know who your brother-in-law is, but if his logic is that he got kicked out of a WhatsApp refugee group, so he doesn't want to be a refugee, then he's not a very smart person. It's up to him whether he takes refugee status. I don't encourage anybody to take it. But if your reasoning for not doing the refugee program is because someone kicked you out of a WhatsApp group, then you are not an adult and you don't understand the world. Now, maybe I don't have all the information about your cousin there, but the way you described it sounds pretty darn bizarre. Pretty darn bizarre, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. All right, so we're good. Okay, let me go back and see if Ian sent me anything. Well, no wonder, Ian, I can't find you because your name on WhatsApp is not under your name. It's under something else. Okay. Okay. All right. You can call me later on, Ian. Okay. We'll talk later on. All right. Okay. Cool beans. Yolanda, 70 Rand. Super chats are falling. Super chats are gathering. Super chats are gathering. Thank you for the super chat, 70 Rand. All right, let me catch back up here. Werner, thank you for the 70 Rand bird feed. God bless USA, says David. Okay. Herr Janssen van Rensburg. Notice that Jan van Riebeck arrived with more seaworthy ships. He did. He did. That's not a rumor fact. Jan van Riebeck had, from the Dutch East India Company, had more seaworthy ships than the South African Navy has. Yep. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Charles Van Altsem is 0 to 3 months group, and he has not been called so far. But then there's probably a lot of people said 0 to 3 months, so that's anecdotal too. Clouds are gathering. Yes, it is funny, Mish. The background check. Okay. Chat disconnected. What's going on here? I've lost my connection. Oh, I've lost my internet. Not on the stream. That's why I'm glad I went with the shop. So I've lost it on my phone. What's going on over here? Okay. I'm still there. So hang on. Come on. Damn it. What the hell's going on with my phone? The phone. I need it for the internet so I can see the chat. Okay, it's there, so I don't know why I'm not. Maybe because it's interfering with that. So let me move it there and see what happens. Etienne Bronkhorst gave 140 Rand, Colonel something for another cup of Joe. Super chats are gathering. Super chats are gathering. It says no internet. Why is it no internet? Disconnect. I have internet. It's being stupid. This is the first time I had a problem with the mobile. Okay, there we go. Maybe it'll reconnect now. Let me reload the page to see what happens. Yeah, okay, I'm making sure the VPN didn't try to connect on me again. That's very annoying, that VPN. Oh my goodness, Debbie Fox. There's a 350 Rand super chat. Those super chats are gathering now. And that sun now is in my face again. You know, it's stupid clouds around here. Okay. Yeah, Lindy had 0 to 3 months, hasn't got a call. Again, those are anecdotal stories though, folks. So it's not, you know, we can't necessarily go with that. Okay. Okay. I think Garth left. I hope his feelings weren't hurt because I said I was responding, you know. Again, you know, it's just, my point is it's a little frustrating. People aren't listening. I told people what's going on. I asked for opinion. I took the feedback and I went with it. So anyway, news seems to be a lot more positive for us of late, things ramping up as you predicted. Yes, Levon, you know, I tell you that the thing about it is, and some people are going to take this as arrogance. It's not. But, you know, it's at some point, I think I'm going to get migraines. Do you know why I'm going to get migraines? From being right all the time. Now, I'm sure it's just coincidence. I'm pretty sure it's just coincidence. I doubt that I have any impact on it. But isn't it odd that even though Operation Mosi was announced last month and I put it on my channel and not many people saw that and listened to it when I talked about it live, but then it made the news again this week and nothing happened. And I did an interview with Biz News, and a day later, they're seeking to postpone the exercise, realizing that it's damaging to relations with the U.S. I'm sure it is coincidence. I'm not being a smart aleck, but I'm just saying, boy, the timing is funny. Kind of like how News 24 alters its web pages after I give the correct information on stories that they get factually incorrect, and they don't bother to tell you they've edited the page. I know they've edited the page because they changed the content on it, and I have downloaded the old page. Now, they think they're clever because they made it impossible to copy the text from the old pages, but you can save the page. Thank you for the super chat, Debbie. Colonel, people should still live their lives. Yes, man, that's what I said. You need to keep living your life. You know, you can't change your life. You don't know if or when that call is going to come or it's not going to come. You have to keep living your life. Yes, Reddit, there are a lot of people aren't advertising the situation, including some of you in the chat right now, and good for you. The person I mentioned earlier that's going to leave in a couple weeks hasn't been in the chat in weeks. I haven't seen them in the chat for weeks. Oh, damn that sun. The freaking cloud is like right next to the sun, but it's right there. Oh, man. Thank you for everything, your time, and all your help. You're very much. You're very welcome, Sean. Guys, please be patient. It's moving. I confirm they are speeding up. Our group this week is about 80. Just stay strong. Get ready because interviews are done. Yeah, look, person I talked to, there were 60 people being interviewed when that person was being interviewed. 60 people. 60 people. I have sunglasses in the car, but then I won't be able to see the screen on my mobile. What I need is the sun to be freaking covered up by the clouds. I need for the heaven to cooperate and for England to stop pissing on me with its pissy weather. You're a light in the world is why the sun shines. Is that what the reason is? And, you know, see, now, guys, I'm blinded. I'm sitting in the sun because somebody wanted a better picture. So you've got a better picture, but you can't see me because half of me is in shadow and half of me is in sun. I slide over here. You can see me in the sun. I'll get burned with my fair Viking skin. Turn into a lobster, come back over here in the shade. Gee, many crickets. That's okay. You know what? I cannot see. So there we go. All right. Now you can't see my face, but at least I can see. Kenya, almost a month ago, nothing so far. Okay. The sun is gathering. The sun is gathering. Yeah. Shade is coming. Clouds. I want the clouds. I want the clouds to gather. Clouds are gathering. Tata, tata. Listen, tata. The clouds are gathering. Go, go. Clouds are gathering. All right. I'm glad you guys can see it because I can't see it. All right. Let's get to some of the news I've got here. So where the heck is my news at now? There we go. It's over here. The jobs bloodbath in South Africa. 250,000 additional jobs at risk. BizTech reports. Department of Employment Labor has raised concerns about a spat of retrenchment notices. Yep, including Ford, ArcelorMittal, and Goodyear. Winding down jobs at ArcelorMittal will affect 3,500. There come the clouds. There come the clouds are gathering. Clouds are gathering. All right. Clouds are gathering. All right, cool. Okay, almost there. So close, so close. 3,500 jobs directly in the Ball Triangle to ArcelorMittal, which we've talked about before, but that will lead to the loss of 100,000 jobs downstream. See, these pretend economists are always talking about, well, you know, the tariffs from the U.S. aren't going to have much of an impact because it's only, you know, X% of our exports, okay? But they're high-value beneficiation exports. They're not like shipping coal, which employs, you know, a few hundreds of people. When you manufacture an automobile, thousands of people are involved in that manufacture. Thousands of jobs depend on that. And then tens of thousands of jobs beyond that at places like Costa. We don't have Costa, but coffee shops like, what's that one? Can't think of it. The Bootlegger Coffee. Yeah, people have money. They don't go to Bootlegger and pay a ridiculous amount of money for a muffin and a cup of coffee. People have money. They don't go to lodges. People have money. They don't go to swimming. They don't go to ice skating. They don't go shopping at Edgar's. They don't go to Mac to buy makeup. They don't buy things they don't need. And those people lose their jobs. So the knock-on effect of a small loss of jobs as a result of the loss of 6% of your exports in the United States is devastating. Now, if the only thing affected, now the clouds are back, there's the rain clouds, so now everything's perfect. And Garth left. I'm sorry to see you go, Garth. I hope you didn't take it personal again, guy. It wasn't directed personal. I'm just saying that I asked people when the show started, and everybody said it was fine. All right. Now, I just need for the clouds to be stationary for another hour, and then we're good. To the 418 people currently here, thank you for being here. Let me break the news for those who've just arrived. We're about a half hour into this. Two big things. Number one, I put a video out just before I went live on this. That's why I started after the top of the hour. And that video was about the South African Department of Defense seeking a postponement to Operation Mosi 3, which is the third version of this combined naval exercise. Dan Bardard, 100 Rand. Silence proves I'm here. There's Don. I haven't seen you in a while either, man. Welcome back. Clouds are gathering. Super chats are falling. Thank you for that. Yeah, so Operation Mosi 3, which is scheduled to occur during the G20 summit. The G20 summit, when South Africa is supposed to hand over leadership of the summit, the presidency, to Donald Trump and the United States. And they were going to have a combined exercise with the Chinese communists and the rogue Russian state that had invaded its neighbors. Two states which the United States says it has problems with. And South Africa, in the midst of the most severe diplomatic crisis since the 1980s with the United States, decided to hold a exercise with these countries during the G20 summit. So they've asked for a postponement from the Chinese, who are the hosts this time around. And that's wise. So that's first breaking news. Second breaking news, I have anecdotal evidence from a couple of sources that as many as 2,000 to 3,000. Now, I knew about this, but I got another source today that confirmed what I'd heard last week. And that person updated. Now I've got another source who said it's probably 2,000 to 3,000 people have been interviewed for the refugee program in Pretoria alone this week and last week. Rion Cronje, 350 Rand. Those rankies are falling out of the sky now, man. Super chats are falling. Must be payday. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. And these are like stripper chats. It's a good thing I'm not Ronaldo because I can't take this shirt off. By the way, in case you're wondering what it says, Wiespang. There you go. All right. Thank you for it. Can't wait our church, says Sandra. Anyway, so look, this nonsense from so-called economists who have degrees in economics but don't understand basic economic reality, telling us that, you know, it'll have a minor impact. And at best, it's going to knock 0.3% off of GDP. Perhaps, I think it's going to knock 0.4, maybe 0.5% off GDP growth. And when the economy is projected to grow at less than 1%, that is devastating, devastating. And for those of you living in South Africa, living under this, you already know this is happening. This all comes on top of the exposure of Alexandra Kannemeyer, the human resources manager for the municipality of Stellenbosch, who doesn't mind being called a racist. He said so. So I guess if you want to call him that, you can without fear of criminal injury. Thank you, Veroshka, for 50 Rand. Just because. Thank you so much for that. You think USA is going to boot South Africa when they take over G20? First off, I don't think South Africa should be in the G20. I don't think there should be a G20. It's a joke. It's like the United Nations. It's a joke. You can't have multilateral organizations that have endless partners because you never reach agreement. This is the problem with the African Union. The African Union holds zero sovereignty over its member states. In order to accomplish anything, all member states must agree. That's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. It can never happen. And so therefore they do nothing substantive. And when it comes to conflict, they can't end conflicts because they can't raise the money, they can't raise the troops, they can't raise the resources, they can't punish the miscreants. The European Union, in order to join it, you must agree to surrender certain elements of your sovereignty. So the European Union has sovereignty. It can dictate what size the plug outlets are in your mains. It can determine, how many fish you can catch, how much wheat you can grow. And it harms people's lives because it does it for the big players, for the Germans, for the French, at the expense of the Danes and the Poles and others. Yep. Anyway, so the economists that think they're so brilliant because they have PhDs and this, that, and the other don't really know what they're talking about. They're the same people that told you that inflation was going to spike in America because of the tariffs. What did I tell you? It's a possibility. But I said more likely, companies will not risk losing market share because it costs so much money to gain market share. And so depending on how high the tariffs are, when they're put in place, and how long they last, we may see companies eating some, if not all, that cost. And what have we seen? Very few products have actually gone up in price in America. Inflation is holding steady. Now, Dogzilla came on here and complained that he'd been blocked on the channel, which isn't true. The other night, he was disrespectful and rude to me with no basis. We weren't even talking about anything. He just came and started making stupid jokes about me. It was rude and disrespectful, so I gave him a timeout. He claimed he was blocked on the radio program last night. He wasn't blocked. If you're going to come and be an ass and make jokes about me, then you're in the wrong place. Now, he should have been blocked and should be banned from the channel, but I didn't do it because I'm a good sport. But Dogzilla kept talking about, everyone's being affected by the tariffs. I mean, how do you make a statement like that? I can't speak for 330 million Americans. I can speak for myself and people that I know, and I can see the prices in stores, and they haven't gone up. Like this microphone kit that I've got right here. I told you guys I bought this thing before my trip to South Africa a few months ago. It was $42 through Amazon. It's Chinese made. No one else is making them, unfortunately. Now it's $19.99 on Amazon. It went down. Didn't go up. And that was with the tariffs imposed. So obviously we're getting gouged, or they're taking a loss now. So, these so-called economists aren't the smartest people out there. Some are, but many aren't. A significant funding allocation of 417 million rand for the Unemployment Insurance Fund, the UIF, under the Temporary Employee Relief Scheme to support 2,982 employees was secured in May for ArcelorMittal. So they came up 417 million rand from the Unemployment Insurance Fund for those people. What about the other 100,000 jobs that are going to be lost? Many of them are in the informal sector. Nothing will be done for those people. Nothing will be done for them. So what else we got here? Anglo American is selling off its platinum holdings. Yeah, it's getting out of that business. 155 businesses in South Africa closed in the recent quarter. Liquidations in South Africa spiked in July with 155 more business closures hitting the country for a total of 908 businesses have gone out of business formally this year. That's up 19% from June. Wow, not good. And the U.S. tariffs are bleeding some South African companies dry. Yep. Sugar is one of the marketplaces really being hit by this, folks. The sugar market is being hit. They're being squeezed. And the U.S. was a great saving grace market for the sugar farmers because the quality of the South African sugar meant you could get premium prices for it in the United States. But unfortunately, that's not the case now. With 30% tariffs, people aren't going to buy South African sugar. It's not that good. It's not that good, folks. Nkotsinati Msweli sugarcane farm in KwaDuzuka, a rural, largely urban, poor region in the eastern coast, has for 3 decades been a solid, small economic success, employing 8 full-time staff and 30 seasonal workers. The cheap sugar imports were already eating into his earnings when President Trump announced the 30% tariffs. He called it a double whammy that leaves the 53-year-old facing tough choices. All in all, I'll have to cut about 20 workers from this current season, he told Reuters. The person that is here in the field maybe has 10 lives that he's supporting. So if he cuts 20 workers, that's 200 people affected directly. 200 people affected directly. You see what I'm saying? So this nonsense about, just losing a few jobs is utter nonsense. Millions of people are at risk here. Shipments is way down the ports. I know they are. I know they are. South Africa's sugar industry, valued at $25 billion annually, directly and indirectly supports over 300,000 jobs. Now, let's say that all those people support 10 people. I don't think so, but even if it's 5 people, that's 1.5 million people that are directly affected by the loss of jobs in the sugar industry if all those jobs are lost. South African farmers are struggling with cheap imports from neighboring Eswatini, which grows a lot of sugar. And of course, the sugar is grown by Indlovu, the South African company. They grow it in Swaziland and compete with their own sugar from KZN. Comical to say the least. But while the sugar exports to the U.S. account for just 5% of total South African exports, the U.S. has been a premium market offered high prices, helping sustain domestic jobs. So they're making more money off the sugar they ship to the U.S. than what they're making, what they sell in South Africa and elsewhere. And that's allowed them to have higher margins so they can keep people on. Well, those margins are gone now. Yeah, these eyeglasses make me look like an owl. I don't doubt it. Anyway, so now with everybody leaving, I can hear the lady on the other side of the room. I bet she can hear me. Pablo Cherry doesn't care about sugar. Well, I do. I care about cane sugar. Trump's posted social them pets are covered it. No, what? Well, okay, Tiger and Sweets. Thank you for all that. But what is Trump's post about? He's had a lot of posts. Last post I read from Trump was about attacking the boat in Venezuela. So let me go to Truth Social and see what happens here. USA. Yeah, where's South Africa? There's a Wallaroos. There, the Springboks in the back. All right, let's go to Trump. U.S. oil hits all-time high under Trump. Crude oil production reached an all-time new high of 13.58 million barrels per day, more than Saudi Arabia. Yep. Is that the one you're talking about? Making D.C. safe, 1,700 arrests. See, it doesn't help me when you say, go look at Trump's, tweet. What is it? Which one? If these tariffs help reduce the deficit, it's worth it, even if the price increases. Well, the deficit is being reduced. The Congressional Budget Office has now determined that the federal deficit will decline by $4 trillion during Trump's administration because of additional revenue and also fewer expenses being paid out. That's insane. Now, we'll see what happens. He spoke about, okay, thank you very much, Tiger. Thank you. That helps. Okay, I'm looking. It's all about, okay, wait. Trump commits to pursuing Russia-Ukraine peace. Stephen Miller. No, there's nothing here from Trump on Truth Social about this exercise. He's posting a lot of memes. It's ridiculous memes too. I've gone back 17 hours and there's nothing here. No, nothing here. 1 day ago. No, I don't see anything. Space Command. Nope. I'll refresh the page and see if there's anything here, but this was a fresh load. Oil production. There's an article here with a picture of him. Let's see what that is. Winning streak records. No, there's nothing here, guys. See, that's what irritates me. People say, go look for this, but there's nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. All right, I'm done looking for something that doesn't exist. Feels like us that applied on the 12th are now on the bottom of a huge pile. Well, that's untrue, Antoinette, because some of those people are in the States. So, untrue. Show me one person applied on the 12th of May just got interviewed. Well, I can show you people applied on the 12th of May that are in the States. Road district judge could block South Africa. No, because it's all within the confines of law. So you guys don't understand. Despite the efforts of the Democrats, we do live in a land of laws. We live in a nation that largely respects and laws, even if our corrupt judges don't, but they can be overturned. If you're coming to America as a refugee aspirant under the program, this isn't a program created just for you. This is a matter of public law. This law was passed by Congress in 1980 and signed by the president in 1980, which would have been James Earl Carter. It has been in effect for 45 years. And under this program, over 3.1 million refugees have come to America. Now South Africans can come. So they can't stop people from coming to South Africa. They can't do that. Judges can't. So they can try, and they will be removed from the bench for being rogue judges. But no, I wouldn't worry about judges. That's not even an issue for them. Their big issue is they're trying to stop Trump's tariffs illegally. They're trying to violate the Constitution and federal law. They're also trying to stop Trump's deportations. That's a bigger issue for these leftist hate wankers than a few thousand refugees coming over from South Africa. So, wondering if I should resubmit a statement. Well, Rebecca, if you go to the website, it says don't do that. So do what you want to do, but it says it right there on the website. Yeah, go ahead and resubmit it, guys. Piss them off. It's your choice. I mean, read the website. It says no need to resubmit. But if you think there's a need to resubmit, that's your judgment. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm just going to tell you the information that's available and what the U.S. government has told me. So you guys can do what you want. I appreciate your frustration, but you know, it's your call. It's your call. China. Yeah, he does say China. Well, as far as, you know, notifications for my videos, it's YouTube, guys. I mean, we need cane sugar in those cuppas. Well, there are at least 12 servings of sugar in this thing. This tiny little, you know, they get these tiny little sachets that have almost no sugar in them. I had to put 12 in here. No, so Tiger and Sweets, I don't see any post about that. I'll look again after we're done here, but thank you for the heads up on that. And if it's apropos, then I'll make another video about it. Teeny, thank you for your membership, 23 months. Appreciate that. Where are all the mods? We've got one here. Chris Wyatt here. Just be patient, call. No, it's not a glitch. If you're not getting notifications, it's not a glitch. It's intentional. YouTube does this intentionally. It does it intentionally. It is absolutely intentional. Thank you to the 445 people currently here. What ethnic group America is most religious? Pablo Charlie, I don't know. I mean, white is not an ethnic group. So is that what you mean? Which racial group and which ethnic group? I mean, black is not an ethnic group, although people claim it's an ethnic group because it's such a melange of Africans and Europeans that who are considered as black is just black. If you go with that, I'd say black folks are very religious by and large as Christians. No, Rebecca, do what you got to do. But I'm just saying that they've already, if you go to the website, it tells you not to do that. It's been updated because people were doing that and it was clogging the system. And so they have to waste time going through this. And that's the reason for the Kenyans from RSC and the Americanas, if in fact they're doing this, which they say they're doing. Someone needs to screen all these people, and that's what it's all about. Mods, there's Ronell, she's in the background. Okay. Dylan says, I want to lose my teeth. Nope, Dylan, I am 59 again this year, and these are all my teeth. No caps, no fake teeth. A couple crowns because I had teeth that were damaged, and not from sugar, but from combat and other things. It's buffering. Okay, well, it could be the feed from here. Let me look and see. No, it's not buffering on my end, so it must be your internet service provider. The problem is, Colonel, it's not anything to substantiate your interest. No small email confirmation, just that it was submitted. Thus, people were culinary pirates. I appreciate that, and I empathize. I'm just telling you what the U.S. government has said. You guys can do what you want to do. I've never discouraged or encouraged anyone from doing anything here other than breaking the law. I discourage that. I appreciate where people are coming from. I know it's got to be frustrating. I know that morning when that happened, I broke the news sitting at OR Tambo at Wimpy. I was having, when do I eat it? When do I ever eat at Wimpy? Rarely. But I was having breakfast at OR Tambo on a flight back to Cape Town on May 12th when that broke. One of my viewers told me it had only been up for a short time. I went there, confirmed it, and then I did a video from there, and I had to wander around the airport to find the Wi-Fi signal so I could get the damn thing loaded up. And I finally got it loaded up, and then I told people, if you're interested, go do it now. Even if you already sent a PRM email, go do the statement of interest. And a lot of people followed my advice that day. Some of them haven't got a call. Some of them are in America. Some of them have been interviewed. Some of them are waiting for the medical. There's all kinds of people. So, all right. So, yeah, this is a super sippy cup for adults. 2 handles right there. So, a rather large cappuccino. Rather large cappuccino. Feral Catano. That's an interesting name, buddy. How's it going? You want a cup like that? Good on my end, says Ludwig. Hey, Ludwig, how's it going? Waiting for the call. Been a month. Well, that's crazy, David. Hopefully they call. The guy in the background is watching Colonel feed on his phone. Is he really? I doubt it. There's a way to know if an email was sent or call made. Well, Ludwig, I appreciate that too. And that's, I think, a shortcoming with the whole system. Going to the statement of interest, I think, was problematic because all you get is confirmation it was submitted. At the end, you should do a screen capture or take a photograph. But then from then, you don't know. Also, I think there should have been a system to give people updates, periodic updates. Yeah, I may want to buy one of these bad boys just because people are falling in love with it, so I've got it at home. Well, Dylan, I don't want these guns to be any larger on one side than they are on the other, because then people might think I'm up to something untoward, you know, untoward. So that's why we lift the sippy cup with both hands. Anyway, Back to the news, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the news. What else we got here? I haven't even looked at the U.S. news, just looking at South African news today. Oh, Henneke Meyer is reflecting on the red card that Bismarck du Plessis got the last time that the Springboks played at Eden Park in Auckland. Yeah, remember that? Romain Poix, the French referee, gave a yellow card that was bogus on a legitimate tackle, and then he got a second yellow card, and which was resulted in a red card. He was removed from the game, and the Springboks lost the game 29-15, if I recall correctly. Yeah, Bismarck du Plessis' unjust red card, which World Rugby at the time took the unprecedented step of saying that was illegitimate, and they overturned it. Romain Poix, the French have it out for the South African rugby, and they always have. So I'm glad that the Irish beat them in the World Cup, so we didn't have to beat them, so they'd hate us even more. The Irish beat them. Yep. So anyway, yeah, France lost out in the World Cup. So Tawny Pat's under a lot of trouble in South Africa. She's coming under fire. People are going after it. Department of Justice opens criminal investigation into Fed's Cook issue subpoenas. Huh? Giorgio Armani has died. Ooh. Giorgio Armani, 91 years old, has passed away. Wow. That's huge news in the fashion world. That's interesting. Okay, now here's a case when I dealt with an asylum case that's going to be apropos here. I'm going to talk about this. The Wall Street Journal is reporting the Trump administration tightens asylum rules for women fleeing domestic violence. Now, I worked directly in an asylum case when I was at the Army War College of a Congolese woman who was being assaulted and beaten by her, and you know, the R word too, by her husband. And he was a student at the War College. And so she sought asylum. Hey, Joko. I eat my lawn. I don't know about that. So that's why I became familiar with the asylum system inside the United States, because there was no French linguist at the Army War College that was proficient in French other than me. And so as a colonel, I was doing a sergeant's job, but I became very familiar with asylum. And this woman was granted asylum, a Congolese in America, as a guest of the United States military. Oops. Uh-oh. Are we still there? We're still live? Are we still live? Yeah, I don't know if we're still live because I just got a network error. It looks like it's still going. And she was granted asylum. Let me just see if we're still live. A little concerned now. It looks like I'm still live. I just got a network error. It looks like it's still okay. I'm still good. Yeah, when you're not on the network. Okay, good guys, I can see it. But sometimes you got a phantom there. I got a little hiccup here where there's a dip. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys for the update. So let me get back to the story here about this story. So women fleeing domestic abuse overseas will have a tougher time obtaining asylum under decisions this week by Attorney General Pam Bondi. The order, which could affect thousands of immigration cases, are the latest effort by the Trump administration to tighten up asylum protections, a swing back from the Biden regime, which had made it easier for people to claim refugee status in the U.S. from a range of threats back home. Bondi, in her role as head of immigration court system, intervened in several cases to alter the criteria for granting asylum. In one case, a Honduran woman claimed asylum based on belonging to several groups she said were persecuted in her homeland, including Honduran women unable to leave a relationship. What the hell kind of statement is that? And Honduran women who have demonstrated resistance to Honduran society acceptance of male domination. Those aren't bases for asylum. That's poppycock. Local authorities, she argued, were unable or unwilling to protect members of these groups. Bondi didn't directly rule on the woman's claim, a task that will fall to the Board of Immigration Appeals. Wow. But the Attorney General has authority to intervene in any of the board's cases. In this instance, overruled a permissive legal standard the Biden regime adopted in 2021 and directed the board to reinstate stricter criteria that Jeff Sessions, Trump's first Attorney General, issued in a 2018 case known as Matter of AB. In all but the most extraordinary cases, Bondi's directives like to exclude battered women from asylum protection. Critics contend that battered women, however sympathetic, aren't a category akin to religious minorities or political dissidents whom Congress intended to provide refuge. Indeed, the purpose of asylum is not to help people who are victims of domestic abuse. I think that's an abuse of the system and a stretch of what the intent was. The legislation, the law is intended to help political dissidents and people who are victims of racial or religious persecution or ethnic persecution, not women or men who are abused. I have empathy for them, and I appreciate that. And unfortunately, I've had to deal with that, as you know, I've talked about. But that's not real asylum. That's bullshit. And that is an abuse of the asylum system, which was allowed by the corrupt Biden regime, which has flooded our nation with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of illegitimate asylum seekers who live in the United States now and draw from our economy when they should be at home in their own countries. If she's from Honduras, it has other towns, it has other cities. She should go to them to avoid the situation she's in, not come to America. It's not a basis for coming to America. Even when a domestic abuse claim appears potentially qualifies as persecution, the reinstated rules say that immigration judges should weigh whether it can be remedied without asylum. Exactly. If you can remedy a person's situation, then there's no basis for bringing them to the United States under the asylum system. And this is why I caution people who talk about they're going to go for asylum in America. It's not the path you want to take. It is an adversarial system. You must prove your case. Whereas a refugee just has to articulate, explain, detail past instances or future concerns. So I've already dealt with some BS nonsense rumors spreading around the past week about no one cares about past cases. Now I can tell you, or cares about future persecution. I can tell you that people have been approved this week. There are a few cases of people who have never been victims of past persecution, but because of their identity as Afrikaners and Boers, they fear future persecution, and they are now coming to America. So people spreading that rumor are not helping the situation out. Asylum claims skyrocketed during the Biden regime, exceeding 920,000 applications in 2023 fiscal year, compared with just 76,000 in 2013. You see how we're being invaded? 920,000, and 98% of those are fake. None of those people should be in America. And the 76,000, 95% of those were fake. Yep. And Trump is going to try to end cashless bail. Good on him. DC sues the Trump administration to stop National Guard deployment. Now, this comes in the wake of Muriel Bowser saying that she's happy with President Trump having the troops there. So DC is a psychotic organization. The District of Columbia sued the Trump administration on September 4th today over its deployment of National Guard to the nation's capital. The lawsuit alleges the deployment violates the district's semi-sovereign status known as home rule, whereby the city has jurisdiction over its own affairs, but Congress can override decisions. It doesn't violate it, and DC is not an independent jurisdiction. It belongs to the federal government, and the DC administration needs to learn that. This stupid home rule never should have been adopted in the 70s. They're claiming that using the National Guard from other states is a violation of the Constitution and federal law. Untrue. The National Guard can be mobilized and used anywhere in the country by the president. We can also send them into combat. In Vietnam, National Guard units went to Vietnam. In Korea, National Guard units fought in Korea and in World War II. And in the Gulf War, National Guard units didn't fight because they didn't get there till after the war's over, but some of them were there providing roads and water purification and policing and things like that. Yeah, so these people are just evil people trying to disrupt the U.S. government and its actions. And they need to be spanked hard. That is because the Constitution and federal law reserve to the states the authority to command National Guard forces unless and until they've been placed into active federal service. Well, Trump has federalized the troops, and therefore he can deploy them where he needs to. Yeah, there are 40 million illegals in South Africa. That's not true. There's 6 to 8 million illegals in South Africa. The president has not federalized any of the out-of-state forces he has foisted on the district. The federal government, therefore, may not lawfully command them or control their day-to-day operations. That's doing here. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how the president could. How can the president issue an order and send them to D.C. without them being federalized? Obviously, the order itself federalizes them. Favorite president leader in history? Oof. I'm very fond of George Washington. I'm also very fond of President Reagan until the last 2 years of his second administration. There was a time I liked George Herbert Walker Bush, but in retrospect, my respect for him has diminished somewhat. When I was young, I was foolish enough to think that Teddy Roosevelt was a good president, but I know better. Lincoln was a brilliant president, but he was also a bit of a fascist. So I really can't say he's my favorite when he committed fascism. You know, he locked people up without justification, without due process, violating their rights. Jefferson was one of the most impressive presidents, but Jefferson was also got a lot of baggage. So I don't know. Reagan would be probably my favorite. That dog's been here for hours. He's just now barking. Someone must have brought another dog in. Erica, 700 Rand. Not too sure if this subject was dealt with when it was but I noticed 95% of the applicants for your WhatsApp refugee group were already in other WhatsApp refugee groups. Some were already in 5. I had to reject me. Erica, if they're not in my 2 groups, they're welcome. I don't care how many refugee groups you're in. Erica, okay, thank you for the 700 Rand, but let's be clear to my moderators who are in these groups. If people are in other refugee groups, I don't control them. I'm getting complaints about those refugee groups, and I have nothing to do with them. So all these other refugee groups out there that proliferated, I don't care if people are in 35 groups, because people can chat in those groups. My refugee assistance groups are only for me to share refugee information, my analysis and confirmation of facts, or for my moderators to share information that they've come across. That's it. That's why they're blocked. People cannot comment in those groups, because I knew there would be a lot of cock prodders, a lot of troublemakers that would come in there. So there's no reason to remove anybody from those groups if they're in someone else's group, Erica. That's unrelated. I don't care if they're in 150 groups. If they're not in one of the 2 refugee groups that I put on WhatsApp or the Telegram group, then they're welcome to come in there. Does that make sense? Exactly, Martin Fund of Estwes. And I created this group so there would be no chit chat, no distractions, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. All right. So guys, thank you for the super chat, Erica. But guys, this is weird. It's going 15, 21, 19. It keeps swinging up and down about how many likes there are. That's bizarre for her super chat. SA illegals are about 100,000, a million, 500. Neil, it's more than that. Sorry for asking this, Colonel. Been in the hospital a bit. Do you perhaps 70 news and the refugees meetings? Okay, I don't know where you get September 1st new money. September is not the new fiscal year. The United States fiscal year runs 1 October to 30 September. We're still in the same fiscal year. Fiscal year 25 we're in right now. Fiscal year FY26 starts on 1 October. So there's no new money. No new money. They're using existing money right now, okay? So people are not listening to what I said. When I say in September, I've given the date of 30 September is when the fiscal year ends. People are hearing what they think they need to hear or hearing what they want to hear. The new fiscal year begins on 1 October. What is my view of Kennedy? Kennedy was a Republican who thought he was a Democrat. He's also a pervasive philanderer. He was a tax cutter. He was a national defense person. He was also a irrational, rash lunatic who nearly caused a nuclear war. His decision to blockade Cuba nearly caused a nuclear war with the Soviet Union. We were that close. And I wasn't even born yet, so I never would have been born. Kennedy was a rash person. And maybe if he'd survived and served a second term, I'd have a different opinion of him. But the man nearly took us to the brink of nuclear annihilation. There's U.S. my groups, as I've said before. Let me go see if anybody has in them. The 2 that I have are U.S. Refugee Admissions Info Group _2, and somebody wants to join that. So pending requests, and you're in, and that's from another colonel. Erica, many of them were already in your other group. Okay, thank you, Erica. That's fine. You can do that. That's fine. But you said they were in multiple groups. I don't care about the other groups. Only about my. And I'm not talking about my other groups, guys, because I have other groups. I'm trying to get out of the sun. The damn sun is right there. It's occupying 70% of my screen now. You can see my shoulder here. So, Erica, if people are in my other groups, like the Wyatt News or my other ones, that's okay. Those aren't refugee groups. So I don't put everything in the refugee groups, all my news, because I'm not trying to inundate people as well. But if there hasn't been anything for a couple of days, I'll put a video in there. Sometimes I put the ones that are important. Erica, it's okay if people are in any of the other groups that I have. They can also be in the refugee group, okay? But not in both refugee groups. That's kind of a no-go, okay? That's selfish because there's no difference. I just made a second group because YouTube limits it to 1,024 people. All right, does that make sense? All right, so that's U.S. Refugee Admissions Info Group, and there's 2 of them. The other one doesn't have a number. So I got 8 requests to join that, but I think it's full. Yeah, it's full. So, oh, wait. No, it isn't full. Sorry. I got 1 more person in that group. Somebody left. Okay, so yeah. So there you go. All right, now, hang on a second. I've got something from... Okay, I'm getting lots of messages from people who've been interviewed. Got email from US RAP, reply from Amerikaners, waiting for first call. Okay. Okay, cool. Hang on a second here, folks. Okay. Somebody's posting a bunch of crap in one of these groups. Nothing to affect you guys. All right, cool beans. All right. So, yeah. What are my views on the 7 AFD members that passed away? Well, a lot of them were elderly, in their 70s, late 60s. So it could be coincidence, but it is quite a strange occurrence just days before local elections in Niedersachsen. Or was it Nordrhein-Westfalen? I'm not sure which one it was, but yeah, it's pretty suspicious. But anything going on with the AFD is suspicious. And not from the AFD, I'm talking about from the government. So that's my thoughts on it. Who was it that asked that question? Was it Joy? They're always talking about the perks that come with being a member of parliament. Oh, yeah, well, he would know. He was a member of parliament to tell you all the things that they get. It's no different for Congress. They get health care. They get free health care. Congressmen get free health care. I, as a combat veteran, 36-year Army veteran, promised free health care in retirement for myself and my family. I have to pay for health care, and I get crappy health care at that. My hip, which I asked for treatment on years ago, got ignored. Finally got addressed in retirement. Now it's raining, but the sun is shining outside. Ugh, England. Anyway, I finally got looked at a year ago. I got an injection of cortisone into my bursa sac, which wasn't the problem. It was the hip, instead of getting an x-ray on my hip, which is what should have been done. And now I probably need a hip replacement because it was ignored for so long. And I have to pay for it. Members of Congress get free health care. They get a retirement after just 3 terms in the House, 6 years. They get a lifetime retirement check, 6 years of defrauding Americans and running up our deficit and spreading racial hatred. It's insane. This stuff needs to be stopped. Just think about the government did not even know what the military camp was training foreign soldiers. Yes, that close, yes. And 1 year subcommander. Yeah, I did. Yeah, exactly. Didn't fire. Yeah, exactly. One of the subcommanders supposedly didn't fire Alan. Yep. PK says we have a serious problem. We have a lot of serious problems. Which one are you referring to? Who do I think is the worst president ever? There's no question about it. Joseph Robinette Biden is the biggest mistake that America has ever made. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, I don't think we made the mistake. I think we were defrauded. We were defrauded. 81 million votes? I call BS. Please share the Colonel's group. Well, they're full. I've shared them earlier. No, that's not the VA, Eli Berserker. The VA has treated me well. This is the Army. This is the Army. And the Department of Defense are treating me poorly. The VA, I'm disabled. I get free care from them if I choose to go there, but I'm still getting my care from the Army Medical Facility. The whole system is corrupt. The U.S. government sets up a system to force people, once they reach retirement age, into the government-run medical system, regardless of whether you're in the private sector or not, with Medicaid and Medicare. It's ridiculous. And so that has an impact on my care, and I'll wait until I reach that stage, but I'm not there yet. Sad part is that our people suffer and pay for it. The politicians don't care. They're millionaires and billionaires. Yeah, we're just the peasants. That's right. If you guys want to post the links to both groups, go ahead and do it. But there's a queue. I've already posted them myself, so one of the mods can put the links up there. Okay, it takes time. I guess I'll do it. The mods aren't moving fast enough, so I should be patient because it takes time for. Okay, and I got to find the groups again. There's one of them. 7 people trying to get in this group. It's full. Oh, it's 1,025 it lets me do. So I'm not even going to give that link. That's the second one, or first one. Let me get the. Here's the second one. This one has members. It has room here. So, okay, copy link. Okay, so here I'll give it to you guys again. This is number 2. It has room for about 15 more people, 16 more people. So there it is. If you put your request in there, move quickly. That'll get you to the second group, and I'll add you. Okay. MRI show my hip replacement is detaching from the bone due to knee replacement being unstable. First have to go for the. Oh my gosh, Lorette. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about. See, that's the problem. That's why I don't want a piece of plastic or fiberglass or Kevlar stuck in my body, because how stable and how long will that last? Sure, you can ask a history question, Krista, if I can answer it. Lorette, I'm sorry to hear that. See, this is why I don't want them cutting into my leg and replacing. A lot of people have hip replacements like it's brilliant, it's wonderful. Their quality of life has gone up a lot, but I'm not too cool with that. You know, to me, hip replacement is kind of like this. People like enlarge your member. Take these herbal treatments and your member will get larger. No thanks. My member is quite large enough. I don't need to enlarge anything. Who said Pablo Charlie's a troll? He just disagrees with a lot. Doesn't make him a troll. Arctic is here. Muscles and hip do not grow back together after they went in. And that's what they assured me does happen. I asked that question. They said, no, it takes a couple weeks, couple months, and those muscles have to regrow back in there. And they assured me that was the case. So you see why I'm suspicious of the whole process? Angelique, you're welcome. My great-grandmother had a hip replacement shortly after that passed away. I'm sure the two weren't related. Yep. All right. Somebody's got the blender running. Let's see what the Washington Post has here for Martin Fonda of Estison says gold member. Gold member what? 2 weeks in the UK and you're already talking about bangers and mash. Who's talking about bangers and mash? What are you talking about? No one's talking about that. RFK had a heated conversation before Congress and he defended his sacking of the CDC director. Yep. Well, this is weird. Stephen Marin is going to keep his White House job while working in the Federal Reserve Board. That doesn't make any sense. I think that's a conflict of interest. Pentagon has approved the use of the Navy base in Chicago for ICE operations. Awesome. Well, you knew that was coming. Well, Napoleon, that's what they told me. The muscles grow back together. From the clone. What clone do I have holding? Defense officials said the installation could also be used by military forces who are called in to assist ICE. I'm sure Pritzker is losing his mind over this. Pentagon has approved the use of a Navy base on the outskirts of Chicago as a staging ground for which the Trump administration can launch operations against undocumented immigrants. Ladies and gentlemen, Washington Post, they're not undocumented immigrants. They're criminal alien invaders. They violate our sovereignty. Dawn had a hip replacement 4 years ago. It's been a great success. But Dawn, I'm curious, how do they ensure that you're the same height? How do they make sure that when they jam it into your femur that you wind up even on both sides? How do they ensure that that's the case? I mean, I don't want to be shorter. I don't want to be taller. I don't want to be off kilter. Just man up and follow. I am following the science. If God meant for me to have plastic in my body, I would have been born with it. Naval Station Great Lakes will serve as a hub for incoming operations overseen by Homeland Security. It could also potentially be used as a place to house National Guard active duty members. Approval of which has not previously been reported comes after DHS sought permission late last month for agents from ICE and other law enforcement personnel to use the base. Yeah, well, they can. It's federal property. Pritzker is going to lose his mind. DHS is targeting the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens, including murderers, rapists, gang members, pedos, and terrorists across the country. DHS will go wherever these criminal aliens are, including sanctuary cities that violate federal law like Chicago, Boston, and other cities. And good for them. Good for them. The health risks from plastics that nobody knows about. We know about plastics and the health risks. Microplastic, we know about that. Phthalates, chemicals found in plastics linked to an array of problems, especially for pregnant women. Well, that's not exactly news. They're acting like it's news. The best frozen pizza brand, none of them. They're all disgusting. They all taste like cardboard. So the Washington Post has a story on their front page about the best frozen pizza. Seriously? The supermarket freezer is awash in ready-to-bake pies. We tried 11 of the top sellers. Let's see what they say. Trader Joe's Organic 3-Cheese Pizza, number 11, got a 13 score. Number 10 is Great Value Walmart. It got a 24 score. Oh, the scores go up. Jack's Original Thin Ice got a 27. California Pizza Kitchen got a 30. Red Baron got a 33. Tombstone, oh, those are cardboard, got a 33. Freshetta got a 34. Screamin' Sicilian, never seen that, 36. Kirkland, that's from Costco, 40. You know that guy at the office who gets by and gets promoted merely by not offending anyone? That's this pizza, which no one from our panel found completely objectionable. Straight up mid. Not terrible, another pronounced. But this was another brand with a pie that seemed to have an inconsistent appearance throughout, which might explain why some tasters gave it higher marks and others didn't. 360 Whole Foods Pizza, 48. DiGiorno is 53. That's their number one choice, DiGiorno. Okay, 53 points. Okay, well, there you go. So that's what they spend their time doing, rating pizzas. Rating pizzas. That's funny. Oh, my goodness. So did you see that even Al Jazeera debunked the nonsense about Trump's health? 379, where the rest of you go? You all traders run off to Ronaldo? What happened there? We've got some traders in our midst here. Had one in 2011, still riding horses, definitely not a skew. Okay, Joy, thank you for sharing that. It will 3D scan you and 3D print a hip for you, soon to be bionic. Ooh. We can rebuild it. We have the technology. Da, 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 da. Steve Austin, astronaut Steve Austin, nearly died in a horrific crash. But we have the technology. We can rebuild them. As for titanium, they'll beep going. Yeah, I know. That's pretty funny, huh? I'm off after ACL surgery. Oh, my goodness. Listen to everyone talking about their hip replacement. I feel like a child and adult's conversation. Using AI. Oh, that makes me feel good. So Skynet's going to screw me, give me a shorter leg the other. So this will be me after hip replacement. Skynet will fuck me over. I'll get the hip replaced and I'll be like, I fuck Marlies. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'll look like a simian limping around, man. Female home entertainment system would highly disagree with not having plastic in you. Oh my goodness, Artie, that is just so wrong. Ah, my goodness. Hip replacement steel is investment cast chromium nickel steel without any carbon. Okay, Chris. I didn't know you knew that, Chris. Over 1 million deported in 8 months is not a large enough numbers. I agree, Holden. It should be 30 million deported. A lot of U.S. vehicles in Sweden love seeing the Ram trucks and muscle cars. Yeah. No, the Swedish love them. Austria used to import a lot of Chrysler minivans. I don't know the status now, but that was 20, 30 years ago. Don't know the current status. David Muller tuned in here till the end. Well, thank you, David. Yep. We've got Dr. Oetkes. Yeah, Dr. Oetkes. Yeah, Dr. Oetkes pizza is okay. It's okay in Germany. You can get it in the U.S. too. It's okay. Not great, but frozen pizza from the grocery store. No. Israel pummels residential areas of Gaza, killed 62 people. 2,200 is now the death toll from that earthquake in Afghanistan, folks. Oof. DR Congo announces new Ebola outbreak. Oh, that's special. We have an Ebola outbreak. Portugal holds day of mourning after Lisbon funicular accident. Yeah, 17 people were killed. I heard 14 originally, but now it turns out 17 people were killed in that funicular accident in Lisbon. That's sad. Okay, why is that page not loading? Oh, I lost my internet again on my PC, my laptop. What is the deal here? Disconnect. Connect. That's weird. I guess I don't have a very strong signal sitting in here. Let me see. Yeah, that's the problem. It's only got like 1 bar inside here. I had 4 bars outside. Something wrong with the tower today. Wow, 1 bar. What's going on there? That's weird. One of the towers must have gone out. So good thing I'm not relying on this for a lot of stuff. Okay, DR Congo announces new Ebola outbreak. Authorities suspect 28 cases in the Kasai province in the southern region. The latest infection identified a 34-year-old pregnant woman, raised the country's suspected case count to 28 with 15 deaths. 15 deaths, folks. That's a 55% fatality rate so far. UN agency said it sent experts to join the DRC's own response team. We're acting with determination to rapidly halt the spread of the virus and protect communities. First identified in 1976, Ebola, whose natural host is the bat. That's not true. They don't know that. We've never confirmed the host for the Ebola virus. We suspect it's a bat. This is not true. We've never confirmed that it comes from bats, and now they're claiming it. It set off a series of epidemics in various African countries, killing over 15,000 people. The death rate is typically high, ranging up to 90% in some outbreaks. Yep, that is true. That is true. What are you guys laughing about? Am my chat way behind? Oh, it is. My chat's just catching up now. Elon could help with that. Charmaine Fenter, super chats are falling again. Thank you, Charmaine. 140 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. Tantium is gathering. Tantium? What is Tantium? I know Talantium. Could be a zombie from The Walking Dead. Ronaldo's a stripper chat. Colonel can have the cowboy hat move chat. Play the next penguin in the Batman movie. No, that's reserved for Jerry Nadler. Jerry Nadler from New York. Yeah, Jerry Nadler. Hip hip hooray. Aha, Maz. That's not funny. I have a mate with something disease. He needs a hip replacement, but is scared, so he drinks a ton to numb the pain. Yeah, well, my joint's not in that bad a shape. Polio, that sucks. If that's you after a hip replacement, we'll take you to Steve Biko's. They can do a better job. How are we going to host games with our Navy that doesn't even have a functioning jet ski? I could go to the Olympics. Yeah, I need your hip, laddie, or look like a car with 13-inch 14 wheels. Real walking a Bali. Good thing about deportations is encouraging large. Yes. 1.3 million people have self-deported as of a couple months ago. I don't know what the figure is now. Yep, a lot of people leaving on their own. Yes, I've talked about that. I did a video that you pulled out, so wouldn't mind having a RoboCop thigh. Husband friend is tongue reconstruction. Oh, that's crazy. Call me tripod. Starmer's throttling your Wi-Fi. Maybe. Wood burning oven. Did we cover the drug smuggling boat? Yeah, that was yesterday, man. We covered that. Yeah, Rubio was in Mexico. Now he's in Ecuador. Okay, sorry to hear that, G9. Chris, you're always used to as part of wax mold for making investment cast with him. Really? All right, thank you, Chris. That's interesting. Thank you, 140 Rand. Charmaine, suspected bushmeat. Yeah, that's another suspected cause of Ebola. Yep. Madeline needed a few laughs. Whoops, I've lost my chat. It's just got, oh, there it is. Okay. It disappeared. Okay. You're welcome, Madeline. They've never isolated the coronavirus either. Well, of course they can isolate it. It came from Wuhan. People in South Africa should be careful with hip replacements when they die. When if someone might just steal their body. Yeah, exactly. Ruben, good to see you. Yeah, I'm up to trade someone a hip for a new liver. Yeah, well, Arctic, he probably will need a new liver. He will be a better penguin than the actual actor. Yeah, I did lose my chat. There it is. They remove it before cremation. Do they really, Cron? Yeah, that's interesting, though. That's more information I needed to know. So we can't even get to 500 likes on this stream. We're getting some super chat revenue, but not 500 likes. That sucks. Come on, guys. Let's make it happen. Let me just do a quick update and see how my video is doing today. Let you guys know. Happy birthday to the mother of the Vasels family. Well, happy birthday. You know, we have a Vasels dealership in a town not too far from where I live. Sells used cars. Nice gentleman. All right, so my video from yesterday on the Stellenbosch story, that has stalled at just over 30,000 views, 33,000. But I got 41 subscribers from it, so that's good. Then I did the one about white people are the problem. That one has stalled at, come on, 24,000 views, but I got 29 subscribers from that. My view is dying off very quickly on these videos. Then I did the apples this morning about the gala apples, the flash gala apples, which is a big one. But as I said, good news stories don't go very well. 1,300 views, that's all. Nobody wants to hear good news. So anytime someone says to me, how come you always talk about bad news? Because nobody watches the good news. 1,300 views, that's it. About apples, success story and stuff. Nobody wants to hear about that. Then I did the Malema dossier. That one's still dying off. It was doing better. I thought it would do well this time of day, but it's not. It's at 28,000. So there's a clear throttling of the content, no doubt about it. But 35 subscribers from that one. Thank you for that. It's got 1,200 in the last hour. It was getting 4,000 per hour when it started. And then I did one in the Navy. That one's at 7,000, 2,200 last hour. So anyway. But we're rapidly approaching 30 million views on the channel, folks. That's exciting stuff there. Let me take a look and see. We're at 29,300 something, I think it is. So we're rapidly approaching 30 million views. If things go well, we'll achieve that while I'm here in the UK. So let me see, lifetime, how many views we've got here. Come on, 29,400,000 views. So we're 600,000 views away. I'm getting about 75,000 per day. So 10 days would be 750,000. And that would push me over before we leave England if we keep this pace. If we pick it back up, then we'll get there faster. But we are going to get to 30 million, it looks like, here before I leave England. That's pretty cool. It might be fatigue. It might be that we had a surge because of the refugee thing. A lot of people say they watch my content no matter what, but that's not true. But there's a lot of reasons for it. But all I know is that I was the top viewed channel for about 3 or 4 months or 5 months there in South Africa, even though I'm not South African, and now I've fallen back. Morning Shots got me beat as far as I can see. So anyway, but we keep reporting the news. We don't do it for the views. We don't do it for the likes. We don't do it for the super chats. All of them are nice, but it's all about telling the truth. Getting started there. Okay, this thing is not updating. Let me see what's going on here. Come on. Am I got no data? My network disappeared on this cell phone here. Oh, there it is. Got 3 bars now. So why am I not getting anywhere? I'm going to close that and open up a new window. Okay, close this too. Close that one. Close that one. Okay, here we go. Live. Okay, let's see if page loads. Okay, there we go. Oh, I misspelled Pretoria. Look at that, dummy. See, I did on my phone, so that's not helpful. Pretoria. There we go. Pretoria seeks naval exercise postponement. There you go. All right. Now it's reloading over here. I don't need top chat. I need all chat. Okay, all chat. There we go. And the stream is loading. There it is finally. Okay, now I've got the chat back. Okay. People are getting fatigued. Okay, 11 more. Come on. What's that for the likes? I lost track how many likes we're at. We're at 500. We got 500. Cool. Monza, aka Future Safis, says, so proud of you, Colonel. Well, thank you. I'm not sure for what for. Freya Menzel, how's it going? Navigates? Du, ich hoffe, dass es geht dir ziemlich gut. Ja, hier in England sieht things ziemlich gut aus. Yeah. My friend is leaving the 16th December. I'm happy for him applying for passport. Quite a few shows spelled incorrectly. Nah, it's not weird. It's just me trying to do stuff. Well, let me look and see what else. You mean all YouTube or just mine? Common Sense, Night Owls, Chris Wyatt. No, mine are all good. I misspelled them on my because if I don't put these on, I can't see up close, you know. So anymore. So anyway, Judge gave me a choice: watch the Colonel or join Alcoholics Anonymous. Hey, Ian, watch me every day. Always support you, said Tony Pretorius. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. You check out Citizen Concern. It's a good channel too. Very courageous black lady, Chris. Star Chaser, no, I don't. I asked Citizen Concern before she became big and famous to do an interview, and she didn't respond. Then after she became affiliated with a group that I'm involved with, I had her personal number, reached out to her that way. She thanked me for the request, but said no, maybe later, which she's never going to give me an interview, but that's her prerogative. So that's no reason to like or dislike her. I'm just giving you the background. I watch some of her content. It really doesn't do a lot for me. It's good, but it doesn't do a lot for me. It's not particularly insightful. It's mostly just stating the obvious, but it's a good channel. People love it, and she's done very well. Congratulations to her. But no, I haven't. And maybe she may be a very good interview. I think she would be a good interview, but she turned me down on the interview. So that's if she ever comes back and says yes, then I'll be happy to do an interview with her. But no, I don't really have time to watch other people's content. If you'll notice, I'm kind of a busy bee. I'm here on what some people are calling a holiday, which is nonsense. It's not a holiday. So there's 30 videos going back to August 23rd. Now let me go back to when I arrived here. These are prepared videos. So August, okay, night 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done 37 prepared videos since I arrived here in England on the 18th or 19th of August. 37 since 19 August. And I've done how many live streams? Let's see. Okay. This is my 23rd live stream since August 19th, plus 37. So that's 66 videos in what, a little over 2 weeks? 66 videos. So I really don't have time to be watching other people's stuff. I'm here for the Rugby World Cup. I've written an article for a newspaper back in the States about the Rugby World Cup. I've also done 3 videos for the Truth Report, 1 each week. And I've also done several videos on my US channel. And I've done 2 rugby broadcasts on my Rugby Ascendant. So if you add all that together, I've done over 70 videos in a couple of weeks. So I really don't have time to watch other people's content right now. I agree. I'm hot for I'm sitting on this side. Yeah, watching our government crashing the country is crazy. What is also interesting is the amount of young black YouTubers speaking out again. Yeah, that is interesting. And Citizen Concern is one of them. 10 Minutes with Kool-Aid is another. Sama Samit, I was the first person to interview him. Another one. Krista says you always go the extra mile. I do. Remember me sitting in the rain? Was it yesterday at Acosta? I was sitting in the rain and had the rain nailing me, you know, laptop getting wet. Yep. Free Market Foundation had a good interview that you can amplify. Will be good to hear your comment on the interview. Okay, I've never met Becky Malobo, but I've interviewed the Free Market Foundation multiple times. Martin van Staden, I've interviewed from there. I've also interviewed the gentleman who runs the place several times as well. Yeah, so Star Chaser, no, I know who Citizen Concern. I watched their content early on when I had time, but here traveling, I don't have time for that. I don't always have internet connection, so I'm relying on 200 gigabytes of data I bought with a SIM card for this dual SIM phone, which is currently operating my laptop right now. And then I try to use, because I can't get my laptop to log in at Starbucks or Costa. It won't log in. I don't know why. It won't give me the login page. And nobody seems to know the answer is to that. And my mobile, I can log in easy at Costa or Starbucks, not a problem. So I try to use the mobile so they're not on the same signal. So this one's going over Wi-Fi. That one's going over Wi-Fi, but off my mobile network. Say Legion just gave 50 rand super chat. Thank you for that. The super chats had dried up for a while there. Sama is funny the way he narrates stuff. David Ansar, thank you, Freya. I was getting a senior moment. David Ansar, I've interviewed David several times, including recently. Came here because Byron can't understand that people feel unsafe together while sitting in a secure state behind 2-meter walls. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on Byron because people try to start, not you, but people try to start some crap between the two of us, and I think his feelings got hurt, and he blamed me for it, and I didn't have anything to do with it. And so we haven't done briberies in a while now, and he barely responds to my messages, so I don't, you know, whatever. Yeah, it's very time consuming if you watch a lot of content. Very time consuming. Also, anyone at work, I did a 73% matrix. I feel so lonely. I don't understand what you mean. 73%. So that's a C in my world. Out of 100, that's a C. That's average in America. But I'm guessing that's very high in South Africa, given the 30% standards. Set your mobile's hotspot. That's what I'm doing, Alan. Oh, I see. Use my mobile. No, but it won't do that. It won't do that. It won't let me log into Costa and use that as a Wi-Fi. It uses the mobile network. Yep. Napoleon says, I stopped watching Morning Shot a long time ago. His takes are more missed than hit. Yeah, look, I'm not commenting on any of these content creators, but I will say that there has been a surge in the past month and a half of South African content creators who are making clickbait titles and clickbait videos without any substance in it. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm just telling you that there are a number of videos that have come out from South Africa from content creators who've been reliable in the past. It's been clickbait. It's almost as if people are chasing the clicks. My clicks and my views are way down, and I'm not giving you clickbait. I'm not making videos just for the sake of making videos. I'm making videos that are substantive, and the analysis is substantive. Or if it's a breaking news story, like the postponement of the... So a lot of stuff I share with you on the lives, I don't necessarily do a video on it because I don't have enough information to confirm sources. Like earlier, I told you the breaking news earlier that anecdotally I have information from a couple sources that as many as 2,000 to 3,000 refugee aspirants have been interviewed in Pretoria alone in the past week and a half. Now, I might do a video on that, but I might not. I'm tempted to do it, but I know people will make a video on that if they have that information, run with it and go, oh, thousands and thousands, and I know people in the government, and they don't. They're misleading you. I'm not going to do that, and that's why some of the things I just never cover. Anyway, there's no museums here. I'm not too far down the road is the National Coal Museum, but I covered that a couple years ago when I was here, 3 years ago. So I'm not going to do that again. Yeah, I only watch your videos. Well, you guys can watch whatever you want, but I'm glad you watch my videos. But I'm just saying, guys, there are a number of videos that have come out in the past 6 weeks that have been nothing but clickbait. I watch them. That's another reason why I'm not watching so many content creators, because, well, there's two reasons, or three reasons. Number one, I'm busy. Number two, I don't like to cloud my analysis by listening to someone else and then stealing their idea or glomming onto it or saying, well, I agree with Ronaldo, or I agree with Morning Shot, or I agree with, that doesn't bring value. I mean, you can do that in a live stream and talk about, but in a video prepare, it doesn't add value. So that's two reasons. Busy, I don't want to watch someone else's video and not taint, but affect my own analysis. And number three, in the past 6 weeks, I've seen far too many clickbait videos, and it's just annoying. I don't like clickbait. I don't make videos just for clickbait. I mean, if I can produce 37 videos that have valuable content in a little over 2.5 weeks, not quite 3 weeks, on subjects mostly about South Africa, then other people can produce content and not do clickbait. So I think people do clickbait to get the clicks and grow their channel, and my channel stagnated, but that's fine. That's fine. Again, we don't do this for the clickbait. We do this to change the world. Getting someone allergic to the clickbait titles, much prefer your titles or content. Well, thank you, Freya. I've unsubscribed all the oh gosh, guys. Okay. The Dutch Reformed Church's Gaza donation. Yeah, I need to look into that one, Author Leon. I'd be disappointed in it too. Why is the Dutch Reformed Church giving money to Muslims? They should be taking care of Christians. Just saying. Sandra says, watch your channel. For us, it's the Truth Channel. Well, thank you for that. Well, feel free to watch me on the Truth Channel as well, folks, the Truth Report. Let me go see what the situation is on the Truth Report and see if my video came up there yet, because it wasn't up earlier. Oh, speaking of Ronaldo, he's on right now. I didn't know that. Okay, so let's go Truth Report. Truth Report, okay. Oh, yeah, my video's up. There you go. So that's one you guys can go watch. It's the ANC's fault, not Trump's. Yep. So it came out an hour ago. Let me get to that real quick. I'll give you the link to it in case you want to go watch it. I'll watch it after this. Okay, Truth Reports. I want to see what they did with my video. So there we go. That's the Truth Reports. You guys can go hopefully drive up the views in that a little bit because it's 1,300. Okay, I'm an anchor on the Truth Report, but my views, some of them do well, some not so well. Let me see what they did here. They shrank me in there.
Once again, it's not just the government of South Africa that spreads disinformation. It's also South African media and social media spreading misinformation. Here we are today, years after this relationship became fractured.
Yep. Okay, cool. Yep. So I got 4 dislikes. Wow. South African podcasters need to tell the masses how much the USA has helped them all these years. Yep. Okay. Nigeria comments, but you should replace the word South Africa with ANC because the vast majority, okay, and neither is, cannot fix stupid. Oh, Garrett said that, yep. What did the U.S. expect? Can't believe the U.S. government's so gullible. No, the U.S. government's not gullible. It's just the nature of our government to help other people. It's just the reality. So, yep. But that one has 1,387 views. So they keep putting retired in the wrong place. It's Colonel Retired, not Retired Colonel. I'm not a retired colonel. It's Colonel Retired. It's a title. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys that are watching my stuff. Live On likes Rob herself. Well, Rob's a friend. Hey, Joey Fun Bike. How's it going? There's hate wankers on Truth Report, says Krista. Maybe. I'm not going to comment on that. I'm involved with the Truth Report. We give them content every week. If I start making money from there, I'll probably do some more. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, yeah. Why don't we wrap it up here, folks? Okay. Yeah, you do need to watch and be critical when you think about content. So we'll wrap it up here in just a moment, but I'm going to have a little fun. I'm going to send some folks over to Ronaldo and see if anybody goes over there. So before he wraps up, customization. That'll see if he mentions me. Okay, RENALDOGOUWS. Ronaldo. Okay, he's live, so we're going to save that and see if anybody goes over there. Okay, let me go there. I need to go to YouTube now and find that. Can't argue. What did Ronell say? Hey, Manny. Sorry to see you go. Okay, he's got 284 people watching over there. So let me just bring that up. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. Thanks a lot. I don't know if I'll do night out tonight, but I will be doing tomorrow evening the rugby game. I'll be covering rugby. The Sharks are playing the Pumas tomorrow, so I'll be doing that, okay? Thanks for the membership. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the likes. You guys have a lovely evening. God bless.